All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here once again on Virtual Racing Network here for the CarKeepers.com Super Speedway Championship night. This night has come very quickly. I didn't think we would get here this fast, but it seems like we just started, but here we are at the end once again. But before we introduce our second chair and get to all of the racing stuff, we do need to go through all the sponsors, starting of course with carkeepers.com. They take the hassle out of your car and keep you going forward. So if you just need some maintenance on your car, you don't know what you're doing, or you just don't have the time, you can go to carkeepers.com. They'll send someone to you to maintenance that car for you. So definitely check them out at carkeepers.com. On the broadcast side of things, we have a few partners on board here as well, starting with Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. If you have a beard, gentlemen, you need to take care of it. There is no better way to do so than Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. All or natural and organic products, so head on over there and get some of that product. They have different scents to pick from as well, so not only will you look good and feel good, you can also smell good as well. And of course, simspeedshop.com. If you're an iRacer, you need to head on over there, get one of their custom-made button boxes or their e-brakes for you rallycross racers, with an ever expanding list here of rallycross tracks. That is going to be a must if you are a rallycross racer. Northwest Racing Series, the official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. We also cover their stuff on Monday night and Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 Central. So make sure you stay tuned for those. Ohio IndyCar League. If you're looking to get some IndyCar racing into your life, there's no better place to do it than Ohio IndyCar League. You can get all the latest information at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphics source. You can head on over to ibog.co if you're looking to get into broadcasting, looking to get some newer, better overlays, or just need some overlays for streaming iRacing. Head on over to ibog.co. And your pre-race interview here coming up in just a little bit, that will be presented by Randy's Wraps. So definitely stand out from the crowd, get you a really nice paint job over there from Randy Post at Randy's Wraps. That being said, it is time to introduce our second chair here for tonight's race. As always, we introduce him as the professional, the champion, the one and only, but really he needs no introduction, and that is Jeff Stabnell. So Jeff, welcome to the booth, and it looks like we have a special guest in here with us as well.
Oh, hey Charles, always glad to be here. We got cup cars, we got super speedways, we got a championship on the line, and I'm pretty excited, and now we've got a special guest in the booth.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
Oh, good. Saw you joined in here just a second ago, so welcome to the booth. It is a special place to be.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited tonight for my series, CarKeepers.com Super Speedway Series, for their finale. We have 4 very, very good drivers up there in the top 4 tonight, racing for the championship, and that's Chase Galvin, 26, Team Olivia car. We got Daniel Holloway, we got Daniel Jackson, and we have the very illustrious Gary Champion racing tonight. And man, I feel like it's going to be an awesome one, Charles, Jeff, and I cannot wait to crown a champion at the end of this race tonight.
Definitely we'll be getting with you. As far as points go here, we really aren't going to go through too many of the points. We may go over a little bit throughout the race, but that's what we were fixing to go over there. Jeff, we don't really have to talk about too many points. All we really need to know coming into this race is you have those point standings as well. Chase Galvin, Daniel Holloway, and Daniel Jackson tied for first. Gary Champion 1 point behind. So it really doesn't matter how many points they have. All that really matters for those front 3 is who can finish ahead of each other.
I'm still lost on the fact that we're going to crown a champion and we have a guy named Gary Champion running for it tonight. Just can't get past, just blows my mind.
Well, it would be cool if he was crowned the champion here. And it kind of stinks that he's in a situation. 1 point is not that much, but at Daytona and Talladega, it could definitely accumulate to quite a bit, just depending on where you finish. And that 1 point is because of a connection issue. They have that extra point because of winning a race. And if you recall, a while back, he was set to win, and that was when Chase Galvin got his win. Because of a connection issue that actually removed him from the race under caution when the race was actually coming to an end with about a lap or two to go.
Yeah, so while we have Ted here, if we've got somebody 1 point behind, it would seem to me that we have a remote possibility that this could end in a tie on the points, in which case, first of all, is that even possible, Ted? And then second of all, what's the tiebreaker?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, is it a possibility? Yes, but it's one of those possibilities where, the stars would have to align for something like that to happen. However, if it does end up happening tonight, then whoever ended up starting ahead of the other person, basically qualifying better than the person that they tied with, that is the one who will be crowned champion. But anything can happen. Last week we saw Daniel Holloway. He had been caught up in a bunch of wrecks. Basically, nobody believed that he was going to make the Final Four, and because of 5 extra bonus points for the fastest lap, he ended up getting that 4th spot into the Final Four by just 1 point. So if we learned anything over the past 2 weeks, it's that anything can happen here.
So that leads me to my next question, because man, that hit us out of left field last week. Like you said, we thought Daniel Holloway was out of there. We'd all but written him off. We were doing our own napkin math, which is always wrong. And this time it was way wrong because of the 5 points. So are bonus points in play tonight?
Yes, bonus points are in play tonight. And those bonus points are actually as follows. I'm right in front of me. Whoever gets the pole tonight will get 3 extra points. If you lead a lap, you get 1 extra point. Lead the most laps, you get 5 extra points. And the fastest lap gets 5 extra points. So there's a lot of extra points there on the table for any of these 4 drivers to make up, and they're going to need all the help that they can possibly get. Obviously, they'll have a one-up on everybody if they end up getting the pole, but that all remains to be seen as we move forward.
So between the pole, the fastest lap, leading the most laps, leading the lap, it's not necessarily going to be the guy that finishes the best tonight that's our champion, is it?
No, not at all, and I think that's what makes this a very unique league, and I think that's what makes tonight so special, and it's most likely going to end up very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I just have one more question, because this is exciting to me, but do we have are the drivers getting real-time updates as to the status with bonus points and things like that? So do they know in the middle of the race where they've got to be, or are they trying to just figure all this out themselves while they're driving 200 miles an hour, inches away from each other's door handles and bumpers?
Well, I got with everybody tonight who is in that top 4, and they all know exactly where they stand in the standings and what their points are. They know that whoever gets the pole obviously gets those 3 extra bonus points, and so if one of them ends up getting the pole tonight, they'll have that in their back pocket to be able to tack those onto their points starting the race. And then they know that if you win the race, you get 43 points, so on and so forth, all the way down to 1 point. And so they have that in the back of their mind as well. When it comes to who's led the most laps, obviously that's all dependent on how this race turns out. And we'll find out at the end of the race who did do that. Same with the fastest lap, that will show up on the end of the race. They do know that if they lead a lap, they get that 1 extra point, so they'll have that in their back pocket if they can get up there and lead at least a lap tonight.
So the one in my mind that's going to be the biggest mystery to these guys, they're going to have an idea if they've led the most laps, or a good guess, but that fastest lap is they're going to be looming out there big. So this is pretty exciting stuff, and I know, Charles, you had a couple questions there, and I kind of hogged head on this because I got all excited, but I'll pass it back over to you, Charles.
Actually, mine was just a comment there. I had made the comment earlier. It was going to be the guy who finished the highest is going to be the winner. Well, that clearly is inaccurate. Now we know. What I think really, honestly, is going to be the champion, who will probably be our champion, is going to be the driver that has the best overall night. And that includes leading laps, fastest lap, leading a lap, it's going to be, I think, the best overall performance. As far as the fastest lap, I kind of think that one's kind of up in the air as to get it, because just because you're up front, just because you're back in the back, doesn't mean there's really nowhere that determines if you can get the fastest lap, because there will be draft playing in there. So I know you are more of the racing side, so if you're trying to get that bonus point for the fastest lap, where are you possibly going to want to be to try to get that fast lap?
Oh, I absolutely am trying to get that myself. And I think Ted's got an answer, so we'll let Ted answer it, and then I'll chime in here.
I was just going to say, I mean, being up front doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt, rather. Being up there in that clean air and having somebody behind you just pushing you along definitely seems, running laps around Daytona and Talladega, that if you're in about the second position, you certainly get a faster lap than the guy that's up there in the front. But it's just an absolute mystery of how it's all going to turn out, because I went back and looked at it, and every single race, all 12 or all 11 races that we've had so far this year for the season, there's been a different fastest lap every single time. So it's a toss-up, really. It's hard to say.
So if I want the fastest lap, Charles, I know this a little bit from, when everybody's always trying to play King of the Hill in practice. I want to get behind that single line that's just flying around setting fast laps. I want to get at the back of that line. I want to back off and get about a half a second to a second between me and them, and then let that draft suck me up to them while they're setting fast laps. That's about how I guarantee getting that fastest lap in there, is to be at the very back of that and close up a gap on them. And that's playing with fire a little bit, because you fall that far back, you could lose that pack. So, but that would be a heck of a gamble. I think this is going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, it definitely is. As usual here, 200 miles. We have 80 laps here at this track. We again try not to predict cautions, but will we see a few cautions? Will we see a big long green flag run? All of that is up in the air here, but we got about 2.5 minutes to go. I know Ted's having to get down to race control, so Ted, we'll definitely be talking to you after this race.
Definitely. Thank you so much for doing this, Charles. Jeff, thank you for being in here as well. We're going to have a good one tonight, guys.
Definitely will. All right. Well, again, that was league owner Ted Manning coming in here. So we got a lot going on here tonight. We got about 2 minutes left on the clock here before we get to qualifying. Of course, here in about just under a minute, about 45 seconds, we'll get to the national anthem. So a lot going on here. Jeff, you want to recap it here for the next 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get to the national anthem.
There was a lot going on there. So we know that whoever wins the pole gets 3 bonus points. We know whoever runs the fastest lap tonight gets 5 bonus points. We know whoever leads a lap gets a bonus point. So right there's 9 bonus points. And if I understood him correctly, whoever leads the most laps, I thought he said 5 bonus points for that. So if I've got that right, that's 14 bonus points in play for these guys tonight. So technically, somebody could finish first, somebody could finish 13th. Obviously, they finish first, they get a point for leading the lap, but and they finish with the same score. So it really is, especially with the number of drivers we got down here tonight. You could actually win this championship up by just cornering the market on bonus points and not even worrying about where you finish on the track. This is going to lead to, or could lead to, some very interesting strategy. However, as we well know, we're all racers, and racers are probably more inclined to think about winning the race than bonus points.
They are indeed. We got 58 seconds left on the clock. We're going to step away, give to the national anthem. When we come back, we will be in qualifying, so stay tuned for qualifying coming up next.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here as they are still going around this track. We're going to go ahead and pull up our driver bar here for Daniel Holloway in that 21 machine, as he is one of the first ones coming out, and he is one of our chase drivers here. We didn't get a chance to mention it here, but we do want to mention it real quick before laps really start going in. We try not to push the donations too much. However, we do have a new feature in there tonight. Whether you want to donate at all, if you do, you can go through the PayPal link that is in chat every once in a while, as well as the new super chat that is down at the bottom of chat. So either way you pick, if you want to, you can use either one. You don't have to use either one at all, but if you feel inclined to, you can use either one of those. That being said, Daniel Holloway is out on the track, but again, it's going to take him a while to get around this track, Jeff.
Yeah, and we've got the out lap, we've got the get up to speed lap, and then we've got that money lap here. So these guys basically have to come out and run about 3 laps. Before they can actually lay down the one that counts. And I'm not sure if looks like Daniel Holloway's run the inside line now, so this is looking like his money lap here.
Yeah, I think it is. Again, you want to get as low as you can, but you don't want to go below the yellow line. It gets a little iffy if you get too low down there. So that is the last place you want to be, but you want to be as close to it as you can as times are starting to come in. So we'll go ahead and put up your top 20 qualifying times on the left side of your screen, as Daniel Holloway currently has the fastest time with a 48.498 over Jason Papp with a 48.609.
Yeah, and with 3 bonus points on the line for qualifying right now, this is huge, right? If you're one of the 4 chase contenders, you either need to see somebody not in the chase get the pole, or you better figure out how to get around that track faster than everybody else, because you certainly don't want to start off 3 bonus points behind, because then right away you need somebody to finish outside of that top 3. So the qualifying bonus points could be a big factor here tonight.
Yeah, they very well could be. As right now, it looks like Daniel Jackson, he had it, and now it's going to be Scott Warren that takes it to the top end. Well, I stand corrected. Gary Champion, who is coming into this race 1 point behind, now has the pole so far with a 47.714.
So we got a chase driver that just went up the top. We know that Daniel Jackson, who's out there, I think he's done now. Daniel Jackson laid his time down, so he's not on the pole. We know that Daniel Holloway didn't get the pole, and Chase Galvin looks like he's completed his time too. So we've got a couple guys that haven't run laps right now, but if you're one of these other 3 chase drivers, you're probably on the radio begging one of your buddies to get out there that hasn't qualified yet and lay down a lap, because three bonus points for Gary Champion is huge. He's no longer a point behind. He's 2 points ahead.
Yeah, he is. We'll switch over here to Donovan Ranta. And looks like for the most part, everyone is gone. I'm not sure what Donovan Ranta is doing on the track right now. Driving about 48 miles an hour. I think someone may have forgot to tell him that this is qualifying instead of a pace lap.
Who knows what these guys are doing out there? A lot of times, I know in our leagues we're just having fun cutting it up, and guys will go out there and do silly things just to give you something to talk about, Charles.
Yeah, they definitely, again, we know a lot of these drivers, so they love to just mess with us. Here is another one is Randy Post, who is driving the VRN car right now. I'd like to see him qualify first, but is driving around backwards on the track right now. And I know for a fact those two are teammates, so I'm sure that is a strategy to start at the back. A weird one, I will give him that, but definitely a strategy to run a slow time and start at the back. But that being said, it is time for the grid here, as it looks like Gary Champion is going to start on pole, I do believe, if my timing screen is right. So you want to run through our top 10 here in the Walls Beard Co. starting grid, and then I will bring us home.
Yeah, absolutely. Your pole sitter tonight, the number 18 and the new points leader by 2 points is Gary Champion. Outside of him in the 76 car, we've got Scott Warren. Inside row 2, we've got the 420 of Donovan Ranta. On the outside of row 2, we've got the 71 of Daniel Jackson. In row 3, we've got the 50 of Jeffrey Meyer and the 112 of Harry Tiller. In row 4, we've got the 4 of Chris Akers and the 350 of Alex Kinsler. And in row 5, we've got the 21 of Daniel Holloway. And rounding out our top 10 is the 82 of Dan Harrington.
In row 6 is going to be the 32 of Alexander Russell and the 26 of Chase Galvin. Row 7 is going to be 83 of Jason Papp and the 84 of TJ Buck. I don't think they could do that again if we tried to have 83 and 84 on the same row. Kind of cool to see that. On row 8 is going to be the 48 of Mark Johnson and the 24 of PJ O'Leary. Row 9 is going to be the 54 of Randy Post and the 63 of Jody Burton. Row 10 is going to be the 95 of Joe Lombard and 13 of Ted Manning. He is not starting here tonight. He is running a race control, and that will do it here for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid, as we're going to jump down to these guys on the track. So we'll see, will he be able to hold on to this, as Gary Champion, as of qualifying, is, like you said, your points leader by 2 points. So we do know that for a fact. Yeah, so this is going to be very interesting. I have a feeling our math is going to be off at some point, and we're going to have to wait till we hear officially at the end of this race.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember if most laps led was 5 points or 3 points. I think it was 5 points. I think that's the only thing I'm confused on. And, I'm looking here at my scoreboard to see if I can adjust it. I don't think I have the ability in my scoreboard to track laps led tonight, so probably going to have to rely on you to keep us updated on that one, Charles.
Yeah, we will definitely keep an eye on that as best we can. It's sitting here, so we'll definitely let you know. We can keep track of our top 10, so hopefully we don't have too terribly many leaders, but we've known to see quite a few leaders in this series, so I expect to see upwards of 30 to 40 different lead changes and probably about 8 different leaders, maybe more, tonight. It is a lower car count. It's about 20 drivers starting this race. We usually see a few more than that, but again, that stands to reason here with your championship night. If you're not in the chase, some people decide to take the night off.
Yeah, that tends to be the way these things work in most leagues. As you get to the playoffs, things like that, interest starts waning when people realize they don't have a chance to win it. But, we've still got a pretty strong field out here with 20 cars out here tonight. So not to worry. I think these guys provide plenty of racing. As a matter of fact, we might have better racing with just 20 cars out here than we would possibly with 40 cars out here because – if you're one of these guys, you don't want cautions if you're running for a championship.
Yeah, you definitely don't. And there they go. It is racing here for the first time in lap 1 of 80 underway. And like you said, with fewer cars, possibly fewer cautions, which will mean for these guys in the chase, that is good for them. That means they have less chance of being caught up in one. And again, we are going to keep track of those drivers. If you're just tuning in with us here, That is Chase Galvin, Daniel Holloway, Daniel Jackson, and Gary Champion. Those are your 4 Chase drivers coming into it. And after qualifying, Gary Champion is your points leader by 2 points.
Yeah, now we got to see if he leads this first lap unless something big happens here. Looks like he's gonna, so that's going to be another bonus point, 4 bonus points for Gary Champion. If he can be the leader here as they come to the start-finish line. And looks like he's got it here as they come over the tri-oval to the start-finish. So 4 points for Gary Champion. He has now got a 3-point lead over the field just on bonus points alone. And then on places, he's got another 4 points on Daniel Jackson. So 7-point lead right now for Gary Champion.
Yeah, he has definitely set himself up good. But as we've said over and over again, it is super speedway racing. Anything can go wrong. Anything can go right, but it can go wrong here at this track too. And it looks like Mark Johnson here coming out all by himself. He started late. He'll be our 20th driver, but he came in just a little bit late as he is already 2 laps down, but he's not in this chase. So we will talk about him here, but we're going to really try to focus on these 4. And I've already starting to see a little bit of a gap. We got about, I'd say, 8-9 cars in this front group. And then you've got a little second group that is forming here. And I don't think they're falling back to save, in the event of a caution. I think they've just fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that second group, as close as that is, that's about the perfect way. If you can get it and suck up to this front line. I'm not sure if this front line's up to the record lap speed yet, but if they are and you can have about a gap like that and suck up in the draft just enough with somebody behind you, that's a good way to get that fastest lap right there.
Yeah, and one of those, you see Randy Post in the 54, he is pushing the 26. I know for a fact he has said he is going to try to push him to the win. Chase Galvin is definitely in this chase, and I guarantee you those two will work together. The 84 TJ Buck behind them, and the 32 of Alexander Russell on the inside of them. So they've kind of left the 32 out there to drive by himself on the inside, as the 26, 54, and 84 have decided to take to the outside, but maybe not the 84 TJ Buck's going to come back to the inside.
Well, here's the other thing I'm watching right now. The fastest lap in this race also belongs to Gary Champion, so he's got a stranglehold on all the bonus points right now. He just ran a 44.393, which is our fastest lap of the race so far. And Gary Champion is just, he's hoarding all these bonus points on these guys.
Yeah, I'm curious. Most of them are leading a lap. The pole position, those are something that nobody else can get now, so they have to try to finish ahead of him. However, the fastest lap is something that is kind of fluid, I guess you could say. It can change throughout this race, and depending on the fuel in the car, how worn the tires are, all of that stuff can play a factor into this. Who you're drafting with, how many people you're drafting with, all of that can change. So that one is going to be a good one to keep an eye on tonight.
Well, Chase Galvin right now with that gap, if they can tighten up, he cross-lined enough gap, he's in a good position to get the fastest lap right now. If Randy and the car behind Randy can get up Chase's bumper here and push him up to the pack, which is kind of happening here on the backstretch, he's getting sucked up there. So they need to get just a little bit tighter, but Chase is in good position to get the fastest lap. 76 cutting down in front of him there.
We got a wreck.
We got the 4 going around. Reese's going around. We got the 21 up on 2 wheels. So one of our chase drivers 2-wheeling it along the wall. This is going to impact our title run tonight.
It is indeed. And I was actually just about to point out as we go back to the replay camera, Chase Galvin, I don't know if you saw that, had a little bit of a ding in his front splitter there. I'm not sure what happened, but it is a very small ding in the right side of there, but something happened in here. The 21, I think this all started around the 4 of Chris Akers first, but the 21.
The green car in front of the 4 hit a little bit of apron, came up and got Chris Akers.
Well, that is very unfortunate. We'll see who all was involved. I think Daniel Holloway, or one of our chase drivers, I think he's the only one that did get involved in this, as he has heavy damage. He does have a fast repair, though. he will have to use it. But this early in the race on lap 7 is not the time you want to use it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that fluorescent green car is there. That bright green car is the one that got up there and got Chris Akers and, of course, Daniel Holloway some serious damage. He's going to probably have to burn that fast repair. We know they've got 2, but like you said, you really don't want to. If you're contending for a championship, you hate to use one of those cars already. You'd like to have them all in the bank for the end so you can get real aggressive.
Yeah, and that is actually the 350 of Alex Kinsler, who somehow survived through all that. He has less damage than probably anybody, and that seems to be the trend. The one who starts it seems to get the least amount of damage out of everything, as that is the way it happened here tonight. As they're all coming down pit road again, Daniel Holloway getting his fast repair. But we've seen before here, as we go back up to the front of this field, just because you do use it, you don't want to, but we have seen drivers use that fast repair and go the rest of this race fairly clean and end up finishing really good or winning. So, you don't want to use it, but definitely doesn't mean you're out of the race by any chance. You just have to be really careful for the remainder of this race.
No, you're absolutely right. It's a don't want to use it, but yeah, they still got a fast. It doesn't have to be that clean. It's just when it gets down to the end of this race, you want to have every option at your disposal, and if that's 2 fast repairs, you want to have 2 fast repairs. That doesn't mean he's at a big disadvantage right now. It just means he had to burn one of his cars, and he'd probably rather not do it this early.
Yeah, it's the only explanation that kind of could sum it up for, a general person out there that's probably played, anybody that's played any type of video game, it's just like having those extra lives. That's really what it is. It's about the easiest way to explain it. You're not out, you're still playing the game, you just have one less spare life there to hang on to. But again, he still has one more. We'll see where he stacks up right now. I think he's going to be about 11th place. Still on the lead lap. So to run through our chase drivers real fast, Gary Champion is the only one that's led any laps right now. He is sitting in first place right now. Daniel Jackson sitting in third place, hasn't led any laps yet. And we'll go through here. See Daniel Holloway sitting in 10th place right now after that, being involved in that incident. And Chase Galvin currently sitting in 15th place. So Chase Galvin, unfortunately, not doing as good here. And excuse me. It looks like he does have some damage to the front and now the back side. He's got quite a bit of damage to that back splitter now as well.
Yeah, I'll talk about points here just real quick. Little update. Daniel Holloway, before all that went down, got the fastest lap clock. So Daniel Holloway, as it sits right now, in line for 5 bonus points, which does help him out here a little bit, tightens things up a little bit because we know he's clear back in 10th place right now. But 5 points for Daniel Holloway. And I didn't see any drivers stay out there and try to lead a lap. But I thought I'd ask you if you caught any. Did anybody stay out to lead a lap there?
They have not. Even if they did, they didn't get to the line first, as Gary Champion has led all 8 laps completed, as we're on lap 9 right now. So nobody stayed out. Everybody does have, I say that. Nobody stayed out to lead lap, mainly because Gary Champion stayed out. So our front 6 drivers did not pit. So even if they had have stayed out, it wouldn't have mattered because our leader didn't come down either. So our front 6 drivers on 9 lap old tires, everybody else did come down pit road.
All right, so these guys aren't worrying too much about the points right now. Seems to me that, early in the race might be a good time to stay out and lead that lap because you've got a lot of laps left to get back up to the front. Might be a little more nervous doing that as the laps wore down, but these guys are just kind of in it to win, and I don't think too many of them are worrying about the points right now.
Yeah, I don't think they are either, and I'm pretty sure when they refer to we're going to Dan in chat. I'm assuming they're referring to Daniel Jackson. We have 3 Dan and 2 Daniels in here, but I think they're referring to Daniel Jackson. He is sitting in 3rd place right now in that 71 machine. So There is, I believe that's one. Let us know. I know Hobo 88's in here, and that was one of his buddies. So I'm pretty sure they are referring to Daniel Jackson. He is sitting in third place right now, getting ready to get this thing going one more time. The lights are off. So caution number 1 coming out on lap 7. Top 6 drivers did not pit. Everyone else did come down and get fresh tires. But as you've mentioned many times before, Jeff, it's super speedway, so 10 laps on tires really isn't going to be that big of a deal.
I don't think so. I'm not worried about tires too much right now if I'm out there on that track. But, I'm not out there on that track, so I'm not sure. But tires typically, even in the Cup Car Super Speedway, we'll do a field run and just do 2 tires. And then do a field run and do the other 2 tires a lot of times. So we can usually get a couple field runs out of these tires if we need to. Obviously, get the cautions. Most of the time, you'll take 4 tires, but I'm not too concerned about tires.
Yeah, tires definitely not a factor. There's green flag back in the air once again. And the 71 of Daniel Jackson's going to get a huge jump here, pushing that 18 of Gary Champion as he'll move to second place. And you have Donovan Rancher in the 420 and the 50 of Jeffrey Meyer going to kind of tag in behind them. As this front group here, I don't know if you'd call that too wide or staggered or what, but they're not really organized at all after that restart.
No, I think not organized is exactly what we're talking about. We got a 3-4 car wide single file battle up there. I've seen a couple of guys already poking their nose out, so when the 50 and the 54 get up there, I think we'll see the 420 or the 71 jump up there, maybe get that line a little bit organized up there. But for right now, I think everybody just collecting themselves, turning a couple laps. As Gary Champion actually looks like he got a little high coming off that corner, and Daniel Jackson was peeking underneath him there. I thought maybe he was going to dive underneath him there, and Gary's going to have to be careful. He's leaving himself a little bit exposed there, so might be something worth watching here. Seems a little early for that aggressive of a move, but sure looked like Daniel Jackson was checking it out there.
Yeah, and that is one thing right now. Good news for him is if it would have been 2 laps ago and he was able to get down there and push him up to the high side, he probably would have lost at least 8 spots, maybe 9, as they're going trying to make it 3 wide, which is not good here. I don't think the 420 of Donovan Ranta intended to make it 3 wide, as that is not allowed to happen till the halfway point, but he kind of got stuck up there as he squeezes back in. But the 71 does get to the high side now, and he has actually led 1 lap now, and he may lead some more as he's in a cut in front of the 18 of Gary Champion.
Yeah, 71 able to drop down. I think Donovan Ranta just wasn't wanting to concede the spot at the front of that high line. I think he wanted to get to the lead, but Daniel Jackson very persistent there. Strong move by Daniel Jackson to just get with it. He knew that those guys would pull back in line behind him, and he'd kind of hang that 420 out there if he didn't want to play nice. And he was able to get the 420 to drive back down, push in the lead, cut back down, and he is your new leader, about to collect another bonus point here for that lead. But with Gary Champion's 3 bonus points for the pole, he's going to need more than that. He's going to need to lead the most laps here, I think.
Yeah, he is.
To really ensure that he's got that with the win.
And again, these bonus points are all over the place, and there goes Gary Champion back to the front. So Daniel Jackson led 2 laps, so he did get the bonus point for leading a lap. But right away, the 18 of Gary Champion gets back to the front. So he has got to, they've got to do something to get that 18 out from in front of this field. As, he knows that the championship is on the line. He came in here a point behind everyone, and he is definitely doing everything in his power to make sure that he is the champion.
Yeah, if you're Daniel Jackson and you know that Gary Champion has got those pole points and is as strong as he's running up front right now, I think you got to try pretty hard. And it looks like what Daniel Jackson's doing. You can't let Gary Champion lead the most laps right now, because if he leads the most laps and gets those bonus points along with those pole points, all he's got to do is finish in the top 5 to win this thing.
Yeah, again, you get the at least 10, 12 bonus points out of the 14, I believe it was, that are up on the table. You've pretty much locked yourself into this. You would have to finish all the way back at the back of this field in order to not possibly do it. Right now, he's doing it, though, as now Daniel Jackson's going to fall back to fourth place as Daniel Holloway, after being involved in that incident, he's coming up there, but John Lombard is going to come to the front as well in that 95 machine. So we'll see. Right now, Gary Champion is trading it off and on. Again, we only count lead changes at the line where a scoring loop is. However, if we counted them every time somebody actually got in front, we would probably have over 100 different lead changes here.
Yeah, well, and if you're Daniel Jackson right now, obviously you want to be the guy that goes to the front in front of Gary Champion, but you'll push anybody up there. Anything to keep Gary Champion from leading another lap. The 95 goes a little bit wide up there. We see Daniel Jackson swing up to try to pick him up here. He definitely wants to get somebody out there in front of Gary Champion, just keep him from leading another lap, and then, of course, he'll get the cycle to the front of that outside line and try to have a chance to cut down. So this line on the outside, very, very well formed up. They are right there. First three cars all over each other's bumpers. Fourth car not far off. I think the only thing they've got going on is just a little bit of snaking is about the only thing that's messed them up here. But they've got 4 or 5 cars running pretty tight there. They should have enough energy. Oh, the 95's got front end damage. That's why they can't push him up there.
Yeah, I just now noticed that myself.
Yeah, he's holding that line up. And I'll bet you these drivers don't know it because I'm looking at how tight they're running, and they ought to be able to get him by because they've got a good line going there.
Yeah, they may not know it here. And again, that's just a product of plate racing. You're so close to each other, you may not know that damage is there. And depending on the 18, if he can see outside his car there, he may see that. If the 18 of Gary Champion sees that damage, he may be liking it right now. However, they are there for a minute. The 95 was ahead of the 18, so even with that damage, they were able to get side by side, but they just don't, like you said, have the momentum they need to push him ahead of that 18. And if I was the 71, the 420, the 54, and that 4, I would love to get that 95. Even if he ditched me, I'd love to get him in front of that 18 and slow that lane down a little bit to where they can possibly make something happen.
Yeah, I think there's too much aero damage on the front of that 95. Unless that inside line just completely peters out, I don't think they can push him past. I think that's their problem, too much aero damage. They need to figure out how to cycle him out of the front of that line. I know we've got no 3-wide rule, but this might be the time for oops. We missed it because I think he's killing that outside line right now. And he's just letting Gary Champion accumulate lap after lap on the lead here.
Yeah, if I was one of these guys, especially Daniel Holloway in that 71, this is one of those times when you might, like you want to say, oops. You may have to kind of veer up the track a little bit and let him think you're going a little high. And if he comes with you, you may have to kind of put a little trickery on him there and dive back down, and maybe he can't get to that hole fast enough and cycle him to the back. You've got to do something because that damage is definitely slowing them down because they've got 4 cars and that has been shown that he could, those 4 cars could make something happen to get to the front. And I'm sure if you get 4 battling, you'll probably have a car or 2 more come up there with them.
Well, we saw those same 4 cars push guys to the front without a problem until the 95 cycled up. So I don't even think it's close to a question. I know they can't push the 95 past there right now unless something happens at inside line. But just an update, Daniel Holloway up to second place on that inside line. And if he can cycle up in front of that 95, which I think there's a good chance the way it legs back in these corners a bit, if he can get himself up there in front of it, they can probably push him to the front. And, he may be able to lead some laps. And he had the fastest lap, but he does not any longer. Dan Harrington, the 82, now has the fastest lap in the race. So with Daniel Holloway losing those laps, he's in the same boat as Daniel Jackson. They got to get up front and get in front of Gary Champion and get him to quit leading laps.
Yeah, and the good news is, losing that fastest lap and those 5 points is bad news for Holloway. What the good news is, the person that has it isn't a chase driver, so you don't want to give them up. But if you're going to lose them, at least it's to somebody who's not in the chase. They're not battling against you. So that is the silver lining to that. But obviously, one of these chase drivers, in Daniel Holloway's case, would love to get them back. and they've got to do something to get by that 18 of Gary Champion. He has now led 19 laps. We are over halfway to the halfway point, which means we can go 3 wide. That may change things up quite a bit.
Yeah, watch Holloway probably dive up to the outside line here. He got a good run on that 95, and he does. And he's going to cover up that aero damage on a 95, so I think they're going to be able to push him to the lead now. It'll leave the 95 back out there, but they ought to be able to push him past Gary Champion here. He's got a much better car.
Yeah, and this is ideal scenario for the 21 of Daniel Holloway because he was able to get ahead of that 95, and if he can cut down in there, as long as the 18 can't get back there again and scoot up and do the same thing that Daniel Holloway is about to do or needs to do, then he should be able to lead quite a few laps. So it's going to be a battle here. I think this is going to come down to the very end between the 21 and the 18, assuming nothing major happens before this race comes to an end. And being Daytona, anything is possible. We say that every week.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the 95 there is having a little bit of trouble with aero, but he's made a couple big moves in this line running in second place, and it's got that upper line snaking pretty bad. But then, just as I say that, they are finally able to push Holloway to the lead, which is what we thought was going to happen. And so now the 95 went from being Gary Champion's best friend to his biggest enemy because they're back. They're going to be having a tough time pushing the 95 to the lead, which is just going to stall that outside lineup, pin Gary Champion in second place, unless he can find a way to get in front of that 95. If they fall back on a lap, Gary Champion gets up there. But right now, he's going to be just kind of stuck there behind Daniel Holloway.
Yeah, he is. And this is the best case scenario. I think the 95 will probably lose. He has a little bit of momentum there as he's going to come down in front of the 21. That is not what I expected to happen. That's not what the 21 probably wanted to happen. However, this is bad news, I think, for the 21, but it's also good news for the 21 of Daniel Holloway. As you look here now, they've got a clean car out in front of the outside row, while Daniel Holloway's not leading laps. Neither is the 18, and if they can keep piling cars to the front, that will push that 18 further and further back in this field, and that is definitely good news for the 21 as he's still there, but he'll also be going back, so he needs to get back to that outside line pretty quick.
Yeah, unfortunately, that inside line just kind of gave up when Daniel Holloway got the lead. I don't know if this is teammates working together or not working together. I doubt it because driving out there, you don't always know what's going on and who's where. But the 83 really backed off Gary Champion's bumper, and then the car behind him backed off, and all of a sudden there was big gaps on that inside line, which was the only way we said earlier the 95 was going to get by, and that was exactly what happened, and let the 95 get out and kind of take the lead on that inside line. But like you said, we got Gary Champion pinned 3 cars deep, which if you're Daniel Holloway, that's good news. If you're Daniel Jackson, now you're 2 cars behind him on the inside line. And Daniel Holloway with the move back to the outside line, and I think it's a good move. I think he's going to be able to get a push, get by. He should be covering up the 95 here shortly, I would hope, with the damage that the 95 has on him. But as I say that, the outside line loses a little momentum. Need that 12 car to suck up there behind the 54 Randy Post if they're going to get going again.
Yeah, I figured the 21 of Daniel Holloway would get up there sooner or later, and here he comes back to the front as he will lead that lap, I do believe, as he has now led 2 laps. He's got the 95 behind him pushing him, as well as the 18. So this is a tough place for the 18 to be right now, as he wants to get back to the front. He wants to push these guys so maybe he can clear them, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, you're pushing Daniel Holloway to lead more laps than you. So this is a tough spot to be if you're Gary Champion. And I know for a fact the 54 will work with the 21 if he gets up there. And I'm sure Donovan Ranta in the 420 will work with him as well. As I say that, he's going to drag race him to the line, and it's going to be Donovan Ranta that leads a lap.
Well, right down there in the apron, that whole inside line, jumping down there and getting a big snake going, able to get it back together, but that's going to cost them some momentum there. and Donovan Rattick going to be able to take the lead there. The point that I was going to make before that is if you're Gary Champion, you know you got 3 points for the pole. You know you've led 25 or so laps. So everybody's got a ways to go to catch you there. And you know you got a point for leading the lap. So a lot easier to sit back there 3 or 4 deep on the inside row if you got all those bonus points right now and you're Gary Champion than it is if you're Daniel Jackson in that 71 car or Daniel Holloway in the 21.
Yeah, and Daniel Jackson sitting in 6th place right now. The one we haven't talked about a whole lot, who's sitting back here, he's got a significant damage to the back side of his car and a little bit of damage to the front. We, again, haven't talked about him a lot. That is Chase Galvin in the 26. But, again, don't count him out. There's been times he sits towards the back, and before you know it, he's back at the front as now we have a new leader. Randy Post in the 54 is leading this race.
Yeah, Chase Galvin looks like he needs a new car, but he's just going to cruise around in the back of this pack for a little while here. Doesn't look like he's too worried about the bonus points. Just going to think a play for the win. Maybe try to catch a fastest lap on the way up there, but before he does any of that, I think he's going to get his car fixed. Yeah. And Randy Post, is that him on the outside dropping back, or who's on the outside 3 wide here that looks like they're dropping in the back there?
That is the 84 of TJ Buck. He is 1 lap down now. He got off the pace and got some damage already earlier. He is now a lap down, and he is falling really quickly here, back in 18th place. And another leader here, and Harry Tiller going to be your new leader in that 112 machine.
Yeah, Chris Eckers in that Reese's car has our newest fast lap at 44.128. So, new fast lap, but once again, not one of our chase drivers. So, we'll try to keep an eye on that throughout the race. But right now, Gary Champion looking like the guy with all the bonus points.
Yeah, the bonus points are definitely going to help him, and he's definitely going to need them now if the trend continues. I figured it would happen. Once he got out of the lead and these cars steadily came around him, he has fallen from the lead to 7th place now. And the more cars get in front of him, the further he's going to get pushed back. Again, he would have to fall back quite a bit in order to offset those bonus points he has. But I also want to point this out, too. The further he falls back into this field, he was out front, had the clean air, was pretty much, in a safe place for the most part. Look where he's at now. He is right in the thick of things. That is a bad place to be because that is where cautions can happen. So not only did he lose spots, he's in a bad spot for a caution.
Right now, Gary Champion's in a good spot. We had a couple of cars dive out of that outside line. Sent Randy Post line. He was leading the outside line. Sent him way back in the field, and Gary Champion actually able to, from the middle of the inside line, jump up and lead that outside line. So he's going to be able to gain some spots when this gets a little momentum. I would expect a few cars to try to jump up in front of him, but Gary Champion back on that outside line with a chance to cycle to the front now.
Yeah, and while they're cycling to the front, I'm not even sure what their fuel window is here, but I would imagine they will have to pit here shortly. We're also on lap 34 of 80, so we are closing in within 7 laps. 6 or 7, about 7 laps completed. So 7 laps to go, and we'll be able to go 3 wide. So this could get very interesting once we go 3 wide, as there are quite a few cars up there. So the question is, who will be that first one to take it 3 wide here tonight?
We don't really have a lot of stagnant lines here tonight. Guys are moving forward, backward. I don't know that guys are going to feel the pressure to have to take it 3 wide. We've had a lot going on that outside line. People are able to cycle to the front. So I'm sure somebody will eventually go 3 wide. But the way these guys are trading places here, I don't think there's going to be that urgent need to jump up there and try to form a 3rd line. Plus, with the lower car count we've got here tonight, might actually be harder to get enough cars up there to form that 3rd line.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Again, 19 cars on the track right now. Mark Johnson, I'm not sure what happened there, but he did start 2 laps down to this race, so something happened there. He missed the start. Currently, he is 3 laps down. TJ Buck 1 lap down, and Scott Warren 1 lap down. 16 cars on the lead lap right now. We are caution free thus far in the, we've had one caution. I correct myself. One caution for 4 laps, 45 laps to go, 8 different lead changes. So I thought we'd have a few more lead changes here, but we haven't. We've only had less than 10. We have only had 8. But I have a feeling in the closing laps that's going to change quite quickly.
Well, 21 car Daniel Holloway able to get up there and cover up that outside line. I figured he would. But in the process of doing that, he's also got the new fastest lap with the 44.
Oh, and the 95 gets into him.
And that is going to cost him his second car.
Yes, it is. And one of our other ones, Gary Champion, has a ton of damage to the back of his car and the front as well. So both of them going to have to come in. Let's go back and take a look at here on the instant replay.
Yeah, looked like maybe that 95, I don't know if somebody got in the back of him, but he just shot up the track right into Daniel Holloway there. And that is unfortunate because we're not even halfway through the race here, and he's going to be on his last set of wheels.
Yeah.
And he just got 5 bonus points, or put himself in position for 5 bonus points anyways, with the fastest lap, and was looking like he was going to cycle to the lead.
Yeah, and the 83 went for a violent ride. It looked like the 95 just came up a little bit, caught the 420, and it was on from there. I believe that was the 420. But let's go back here to the 83 of Jason Papp. Hopefully we'll go back far enough. And let's go on the board with him real quick. Thanks to T&D Rusty Decor on the board camera. Hopefully you don't get sick from motion, because you're about to see a crazy ride here on board with the 83 of Jason Papp starting right now.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the 420 didn't come down and get into the back of the 95. I'm trying to get an angle here to see that now. I think it might have come down. It might have been a little bit of net code, might have got into the back of him, but I think that's what kicked the 95 up. And then, like you said, the 83 just doing barrel rolls down the track there.
Yeah, he was definitely went for a ride there. But we're going to pit road here as expected. Everybody is on pit road here. A bad camera angle there. Let's see if we can get a better shot of it. Everybody, it's just not a good camera angle here. We'll try to see if we'll go to pit road, but everybody's on pit road. We'll see who comes out first, as everybody came down. Nobody stayed out, but it's going to be Harry Tiller that comes out first. Here he came out from the front of this pack, and he will remain at the front of this pack. And again, they get involved in a wreck. They come out in a fairly good spot.
Yeah, and by a fairly good spot, you mean up front. Driving your last car and competing for a championship here tonight with the aggression that I think these guys have seen historically here the last, in this league, probably isn't a good spot if you're the 21 car Daniel Holloway right now.
Definitely not. But while we are under caution here for the second time, when we come back, we will be able to go 3 wide, and they will be bunched up. We're going to keep an eye on that, but we are going to step away to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with some more Green Flag Racing here in just a few moments.
Say command.
What is the weather like in LA?
The weather is clear in LA.
What is the weather like in New York?
The weather is rain in New York.
Use flow mode.
Flow.
Say hello, TT.
Hello, TT.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and the lights are off on the pace car. That means we're going back to racing this time by. We will start lap 41, and I'm with you, Jeff. I'm really tossed up in the air. Will we see any three-wide racing action here tonight? That is just really a coin flip. I don't know what's going to happen here. What I do know is when this pace car dives off, they will have the ability to do it. They will be allowed to, and they will be bunched up. So I don't know if we'll see anyone do it intentionally, but then again, we may. It's going to be a tough question.
Well, we've talked about this a little bit the last couple of weeks. Restrictor plate racing, super speedway racing. It's all about risk reward. You make the right risks and you weigh the possible reward versus the downside there. You make the judgment calls, try to put yourselves in places where you have the opportunity for higher reward and less downside. And at Daytona, 3 wide sometimes almost feels like a desperation move. Is it never works for very long. 3 wide at Daytona doesn't. So if you get up there and you run that third line at Daytona for very long, it's a ticking time bomb. Somebody's going to wreck it. You're just kind of hoping it's behind you. So we'll see how it goes. But if we see it, I don't think it'll be sustained.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it'll be sustained for very long either. To answer a question over on the Facebook side, I just saw it. This what league is this? This is the CarKeepers.com Super Speedway Series. This is the championship night. Then they will start back on the 12th of October is when they resume once again. So we have a few weeks off here. But right now, you're watching a good battle here. Just to quickly update everyone where our chase drivers are. Right now, third place is Gary Champion. Fourth place, Daniel Holloway. Let's take a look back here and see. Not sure if I can find them all. There's Daniel Jackson in fifth place. And our other one, Chase Galvin, in seventh. So all of our current chase drivers are in the top 10 now.
Yeah, Gary Champion, obviously, he's loaded up on bonus points. So as our highest placed chase driver right now, third place, second guy in the outside row. He's looking pretty good. Like you said, Daniel Holloway and Daniel Jackson need to figure out how to get somebody else leading a bunch of laps. If they want a shot at this, they can't let Gary Champion have the most laps in the pole here right now and finish up in the top 5.
Yeah, and we're getting borderline there right now. Gary Champion has led 21 laps. So while that's still another at least 20 off of leading the most, that's still more than anybody else out there. So they've got to Holloway or Jackson both have led 2 laps at this point in the race. Chase Galvin has led none, so they all need to get up there and lead some laps, at least get I would say 15 laps or so led, 15 or 20 laps led, so that they can be up there with him. Then it's just going to be a battle of who can lead the most. But right now, nobody in the chase other than the champion has led more than 20. So he's sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw Gary Champion get in the wall when you started talking a little bit. I don't know that he got much damage, but I'm pretty sure I saw him scrape that wall. So, maybe when the camera comes around, we'll have to look and see if we see any damage there.
Yeah, watching him now. And I don't see too much. So if it was a very light scrape. As you got the 54 pushing the 21. Again, that is Randy Post pushing the 21 of Daniel Holloway. I knew those two would work together a little bit here tonight, as it looks like now they're going to have to for sure, trying to get that 21 back to the front.
Yeah, 21 definitely needs to get up front. He's out of cars. He's gone through his 2 fast repairs, and right there, the 95, I thought he was going to push him up and force him 3 wide there. 95 finally got a clean car, so maybe 21 can cycle him to the front here. But that outside line got a little bit of snaking going on. They're going to have to settle things down there if they're going to get that thing moving.
Yeah, and I mentioned this earlier, and I'm going to bring it up again. to watch that 26 of Chase Galvin. He'll sit in the back, and then out of nowhere, he'll be at the front. Here he is sitting in second place right now. He is very good at that, about hanging around the back. You don't talk about him, and then all of a sudden, here he is sitting at the front of the field, and he's done it multiple times this season, and he's doing it again here tonight.
Yeah, he's up there. He may have waited too long. How many laps we got Gary Champion leading? 21?
21 for him, and we are past the halfway point, so he would have to get out in the lead very quickly if he wants to lead the most laps.
So right now we got Gary Champion sitting on about 9 bonus points. Chase Galvin's going to need more than a win. He's going to need a bad Gary Champion finish, or to take some of those bonus points back away from Gary Champion if he's going to win the series here tonight. He needs a little more than a win.
Yeah, definitely needs more than a win. You never want to wish bad luck on any driver, but I can guarantee you these guys ahead of him, Daniel Holloway, Chase Galvin, Daniel Jackson, who's fallen all the way back to 12th now, they're hoping that something happens here to Gary Champion. I'm sure they want to win it fair and square, but they would love to see, him get pushed to the back or whatever. It doesn't have to be wrecked out, just all the way to the back. That is going to be what it takes for them to possibly get by here and win this championship, I think.
Either that, or they just got to keep pushing Harry Tiller here and let him knock off 25, 30 laps in the lead, and see if they can't, get those bonus points away from Gary Champion. Oh, we got 2 cars getting into it. The 95 there, looking like he had a nice save. I think that was the 95 there. Got turned it down on the apron, was able to catch it, collect it, and keep it from coming back up in front of everybody. So, good move for him. That's going to put him in a bad place here, probably out of the draft. Yeah,
it definitely is. As I hate to say this, he's obviously really good. He doesn't have that damage anymore. So earlier that would have been a not such a bad idea for everyone else if he was out of that main draft. But he came in, he's got that damage repaired. So. The 95, that is John Lombard. Since he's got that damage repaired, he could have been a good asset up there to these guys. So it's unfortunate that he's out now of that main draft. We'll have to see if he can work with the 4 of Chris Akers and try to get up there. But keep in mind, Chris Akers is actually 1 lap down right now.
Yeah, we probably haven't seen our last caution, so I don't think anybody's sweating it. But we got to the point where we can go 3 wide, and then, here's our super speedway crew. This is all these guys run. They're running 1 line, single file. So certainly not in a hurry. I think they've just settled it in, and they're going to try to cycle it to the end. And, if you're anybody but Gary Champion right now, that's probably a good plan.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll check in with Gary Champion here. We'll see if we can find him at the moment. There he is. He's fallen all the way to 10th place. He has another chase guy, Daniel Jackson, pushing him right now. But both of these really have lost this main group. They're not completely off. I don't think they've lost the draft. They have fallen off, I would say, of the, a really good quality draft. They're not right there with them, but they're not out of it just yet. But if those guys pull away anymore, they could be in jeopardy of losing that draft for good.
Well, Harry Tiller just clocking laps right here. I think what I'd be more concerned about right now as Gary Champion was Harry Tiller taking away the number of laps led, because that's a lot of bonus points right now for Gary Champion. And has him fairly safe, even in 10th place with all of his bonus points. He's not looking too bad. But if Harry Tiller gets the most laps led, that's gonna be a game changer there.
Yeah, and I have a feeling, being that the 26 is pushing him, that's probably on his mind right now, as well as the 54. That's why I don't think you've seen any of these guys pop out. And while you were just talking about that, I do have those pulled up here on my end. Harry Tiller has led 20 laps. He will be tied for the most laps led when he comes to the line this time. So one more time by after this one here, and those 5 points will be stripped away from Gary Champion.
And that's a big one there. Now, obviously, Gary Champion got a chance to get back up and to the front. So maybe if I'm Chase Galvin, if I'm keeping track, I doubt he is, but maybe those teammates there push him around for another 5 or 10 laps or something, just to make sure that they can keep him out there longer than Gary Champion. But meanwhile, it looks like we've got some cars trying to cycle up and get that outside line going again. Daniel Holloway tried it. It didn't work. And then we got the 48 there. Is that Mark Johnson in the 48?
Yes, the 48 of Mark Johnson. He is currently 2 laps down. So he's not battling for position. He's just trying to get up there and maybe get his lap back, or one of his laps back. And keep in mind, right there, 22 laps led for Harry Tiller. There officially takes those 5 points away from Gary Champion. So now this went from about a 9-point thing to about a 4-point. So just like that in one lap, Gary Champion just lost a huge chunk of his lead.
Yeah, well, Gary Champion sitting back there now, sitting in 10th place is a little bit of a problem for Gary Champion. I see Chase Galvin's obviously counting laps because he finally quit pushing, and now he's trying to cycle out there and get the lead. If he is counting laps, I might have wanted to push Harry Tiller around a few more laps just to get a little buffer there so Gary can't jump up front, lead 2 laps to get those bonus points back. But Chase Galvin going to try to get that bonus point for leading the lap here.
And not that time. It isn't going to happen. It's going to be Tiller for 23 laps led. He definitely needs that bonus point for at least leading a lap here. And I have a feeling if he can get up there and make something happen, that, like I said earlier, the 54 of Randy Post is working with the 26. He actually made the comment earlier this week that he would try to push him to the win. So I know those two are working together, and right now he was probably trying to push him to the lead, but 3 versus 2, not quite going to happen as they're going to tuck back in to the inside lane. Whew, and almost got a back bumper to the 48 of Mark Johnson there from the 26.
Yeah, you got 3 chase drivers on the outside back there at about 9-10 place. Daniel Holloway, Daniel Jackson, and Gary Champion. So I find it interesting that the 3 chase drivers are going to try to work together to get to the front. Meanwhile, Tiller keeps ticking away those laps led.
He does, and that is good. I would be if I was a betting man, and I would put a bet on this. If that 21, the 18, and the 71, our 3 chase drivers, and now the 24 is going to get up there as well. If they can get up there to the rest of this field, as the 18 of Gary Champion thought about leaving the 21 high and dry, he doesn't do it though. But if they can get up there to this group here to about Chase Galvin, I would almost bet you that 26 and 54 are going to jump out there, join up with them and try to get that 26 to the front of this field.
Well, if we're playing bets, I'm going to bet those 3 drivers can't work together long enough to get themselves to the front of the field. Seeing that they're 3 of the 4 chase drivers or championship drivers, I got to think one of them's probably going to take the first opportunity they have to leave their buddy up there high and dry and get past him, because I know that they're only working together out of desperation right now, not because they want to work with each other.
Yeah, that is the key here to plate racing and any type of racing. Even with teammates, you won't wreck them. But even on teammate side of things, you will help your buddy. You are his best friend. You'd give him the shirt off your back before the race starts. But when you got a championship on the line, that shirt's yours, and you ain't giving it to nobody. You want to win this thing. While you may not race them dirty or anything like that, you're not going to try to do them any favors. You want the championship yourself.
Yeah, you want it clean. You never want to get one dirty, or even a win. You don't want people making accusations or any of that stuff. You always want to win, but clean. But second place clean. That just doesn't have the same ring, does it?
No.
You still got to get that win.
Yeah, and it looks like the 54 Randy Post has kind of fallen off here a little bit. He's got about a 2.5 car length gap between him and the 26. Him and the 63 and the 420 of Jody Burton and Donovan Ranta have kind of fallen back. They're going to have to catch back up here again. I'm wondering if they are trying to make a run here as they're going to come by. I believe that's the 83 of Jason Papp, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is not. I'm not sure who that is that they're passing there. That is the 82 of Dan Harrington going 1 lap down now, as he has lost the draft and now is officially 1 lap down. But Harry Tiller right now led 27 laps, going to be 28 at the line. So while it's not one of our chase leaders, they're doing a good job of keeping a chase guy away from that lead.
Well, and if Chase Galvin and Randy Post really are working together like that, obviously they're paying attention to bonus points, because we watched how long they pushed Chase or Tiller there, and as soon as they got him with the most laps led, they jumped out there to try to take it, not before.
Oh, we got a car going around.
The 48 into the wall, and Daniel Holloway survives it.
Yes.
So good news for him.
Let's go back and take a look. And that was the 48 of Mark Johnson, who was 2 laps down, but he was still hanging with this lead group. So let's look here and see exactly what happened. Looked like maybe a little bit of a bumper hook from the 26. We had already seen that once. He almost got into him. And we're trying to see here exactly what did happen.
Well, I believe there was some assistance there. It looked to me like he got a little bump in the middle of that corner. That's exactly what happened. I think 26 Chase Galvin got into him in the middle of the corner there. And those cars just do not like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was a very, very, very slight bump. But, like you said, they don't like them. And I am not sure what is going on here. We just had our leader, Harry Tiller, just get rear-ended all of the sudden. So let's go back and take a look at that. Under caution, the 112 of Harry Tiller just gets drilled in the backside of his car.
Yeah, I missed that whole thing. I was back there still looking at the replays there. So that's not good.
No, as we're going back here to see what happened, he was under full speed at this point when we're watching the replay. But again, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he locked it up trying to get to the pace car.
Somebody wasn't paying attention behind him when he was slowing down for the pace car, and whoever that was behind him didn't.
32 of Alexander Russell, who was running second, so just never even checked up. Let's go back and take another look at that real quick, and let's go on board here with our helmet cam with the 32 here of Alexander Russell. As you're watching right here, we're looking at those RPMs, 7,600, and he gets down to about 2,000. There we go. He did check up. I think I know what happened there. It is a product of iRacing, that pace car being see-through. I think, I don't think Harry Tiller went through the pace car, and I don't think he thought Harry Tiller was going to slow up as much as he did, and couldn't see him through that pace car.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go look at the in-car. I didn't see Harry Tiller go through the pace car. I thought he was still behind him when he got plowed, but maybe that's it. We'll have to take a look.
Yeah, I was watching it there. He went through it here, and I don't know if we have the 32 in chat with us or not. Alexander Russell, let's see if we have him with us to chat with, but I do not believe we do. But that is what it looked like happened anyway. Is Tiller checked up and going through that pace car made it to where the 32 just couldn't see him.
Yeah, we're going to have to go with that for lack of a better explanation, but I would think the pace car would be a clue that you need to slow down there, to be honest with you. So, I don't know what happened there. I'm wondering if something else didn't happen, because he was still carrying way too much speed. Even if he didn't see the leader on the other side of the pace car, he was carrying way too much speed coming up on the pace car there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I watched his RPMs. They went from 7,600 to 2,000, so he did let off the gas, but I don't think he necessarily hit the brake as much as he could have. And I'm with you. I think it was possibly and probably a honest mistake, but I'm with you. You see the pace car, you probably start checking up a little bit more. Seeing the pace car, you know the leader's going to be somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm with you. You see that pace car, probably a good idea to check up a little bit. But it's unfortunate for Harry Tiller on top of that, As we'll go back, he is being scored currently in 5th place, but that was a hard lick, so he had to use one of his faster pairs.
Well, and then, like you said, on the flip side, if you're Harry Tiller, you don't go play games with the pace car and park in front of it. If you're coming up and slowing down pretty abruptly because you guys are finally catching up to the pace car, typically you'll either jump down there on the apron or run up high. Just in case somebody's not paying attention, you just try to kind of get out of that main line, and jumping in front of the pace car like that, not a smart move. In that instance, not saying that he deserves it for doing that, but because again, the guy should never be going that fast when he gets the pace car, but you certainly don't want to be playing hide and seek with the pace car if you're the lead car and everybody's slowing down getting there.
Yeah, definitely. And check up Kamikaze just to slow down. Typically, you'll call out where the pace car is over the radio here on iRacing. Kevin Jackson, yeah, you probably don't want to arc or break the thing, although we have seen some people do that in the past. Completely turn it sideways. Definitely, it was a very unfortunate deal there. However, look who's back at the front of this pack here. Our front 4 did not pit. I want to point that out. With 25 laps on their tires here. Daniel Holloway, now your race leader, and Gary Champion is in 2nd. And, you don't want to lead laps under caution, but these are just free laps for him right now, as he needs all the laps he can get, and they need to take all the laps they can away from Gary Champion, who has led 21. Tiller led 30. So there is a 9-point gap there with 18 laps to go.
So we got 30 and how many, you said?
We have 21 for Champion, 30 for Tiller with 18 laps to go.
Yeah, so if you're Daniel Holloway, you gotta fight like hell here to make sure that Gary Champion isn't able to just pull up in front of you and then that outside line goes away and you get stuck. So expect these guys to run hard down here on the bottom. I would expect Chase and Randy Post to probably push that a little bit too. Got to be worried with Gary Champion on the outside. And then, the other part you got to worry about here is you got Daniel Holloway right now, and these guys probably don't know that, but Daniel Holloway is sitting on the fastest lap right now on 5 bonus points. As your leader, I believe, as things stand right now, he would be scored to champion if it ended this way.
Yeah, and somebody pointed it out in chat, and I was just looking in TeamSpeak to find it out myself. We pulled a rookie move. There it is. Green flag is back underway. We were on replay there, but sorry about that. Those front 4 are all teammates too, so that could play a factor in this as well. You have 4 teammates, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And look at that, Gary Champion, just what you did not want to see if you're one of these chase drivers. Gary Champion able to come down and clear on the first lap before they even get up to speed. And so now, if you're Daniel Holloway, you better figure out how to get up to the outside, try to cycle up front and cover them up here because, like you said, we've only got about an 8-lap buffer for Gary Champion there leading the most laps.
Yeah, you definitely need to get up there. Whether it's you or somebody else, somebody needs to get up there and lead those laps here so that Gary Champion doesn't. Obviously, Gary Champion wants to lead those laps, but for everyone else in this chase, they need to get somebody up there and make something happen. If I was the 21, I might peek my nose out there a little bit, see if somebody would go with me, maybe the 50 or the 112. Would like to get back up there, and that's the thing. You want to finish ahead of the 18, but sometimes you have to make a sacrifice. Maybe finishing in 2nd if Gary Champion will finish in 3rd or 4th, and you give the win to the 112 or the 50 as long as you can get him up to the lead. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices like that.
Yeah, because, the other thing we talked about that you didn't want to see happen if you were one of these playoff drivers is this thing single file up front. And that's exactly what happened. So somebody's got to do something. I don't know if Daniel Holloway can peek out and if Chase Galvin realizes what's going on and would go with him or not. But, this is it's really set up for Gary Champion here to get those bonus points back for leading the most laps. and probably just about effectively end anybody else's chance of winning this thing.
Yeah, it did. And even with the 21 currently, as of a while ago, having the most or the fastest lap, that would offset those bonus points for him, but nobody else. So still, he would have a little bit of a gap there. I think right now it's probably about a 1 or 2 point difference between those front two. But if the 21 can get up there and take that lead away quickly enough, and he doesn't lead any more laps, or at least not 6 more laps, that would be ideal for the 21, and he could definitely be helping out anyone. So if I was the 21, I would somehow try to talk to the 50, the 112, and the 26 to see if we can get something going. But again, they're all teammates, so they have to be nice to each other too.
Well, don't forget, the 18's got 3 bonus points for being on the pole tonight too, so those don't go away. He may have lost for leading the most laps, but he has still got 3 bonus points for that right now. I think if the race ended right now, Daniel Holloway would be the winner still. But if Gary Champion's able to get the most laps led, that goes out the window.
Yeah, and, honestly, if you're the 21, you want to get out there. A caution may not be a bad thing here, because if a caution came out, that would put the 21 back on the outside. Maybe he could make something happen and get around, but that would need to come out here very quickly. And honestly, even if it did at this point, I think the 18 of Gary Champion would still lead more laps, because he would stay out, I'm sure, and lead those laps under caution. So, really, you just need to get by him here on the track, whether it's shoving him up a little bit or trying to make something happen on the outside, because that right there is coming to the line, his 27th lap led, and he needs to get to 31.
Yeah, these guys need to make something happen. We've got MT Valencia in chat here talking about him needing to back off and then jump into the outside line and try to take the lead. And while I agree that's probably what he needs to do, it's so hard to do if you don't know.
What happened? Sorry to cut you off. The 18 just took it up to the high side, and he is dropping like a rock right now.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think that was planned. I got to go back to see what happened there, just as we were talking about it. I'm going to go back and look. Maybe he caught a little bit of apron, but wow, what a fortunate event for Chase Galvin and Daniel Holloway here.
Yeah, that is very interesting. As we're going to look, he is going to fall all the way back to 8th place. Now he's got Randy Post around him, as well as Daniel Jackson. So this could get very interesting. I don't know why he did that, but he didn't blow up or anything like that. The engine's still fine, but he just drove it up. Makes you wonder if maybe his hand slipped off the steering wheel, or maybe he lost his gas pedal or something there. Maybe it slipped off. His foot slipped off the gas. Something happened, and that gave the lead to Daniel Holloway with 11 laps to go. Holloway has led only 5, so I don't think he can secure the most laps led. That would only be 17 total, 16 actually. So right now, here we need 4 laps to go. If we can get to 4 laps to go before the 18 can get back up there, he would be locked out of that chance.
Yeah, I went back there and looked at it. I can't figure out what happened. It almost looked intentional, like he just drove it up there. So maybe he wasn't paying attention. Maybe he had something going on in the sim, but he just slowly drove it up there. And then, of course, with nobody else up there in that high line, there's no draft.
Oh, and now he gets into the outside wall. The 71 gets collected.
He's got the 71 and Daniel Jackson with him.
Caution comes out, and I'm not sure. We're going to go back and look at the replay here. All of a sudden, the 18 of Gary Champion is just, I don't know what is happening. He goes and just goes up to the high side, and then that very moment, he just scraped the wall all by himself, and then collects the 71 of Daniel Jackson with him.
I'm going to say he's probably having some hardware issues. He maybe have some stutters or something like that going on. I can't think of another explanation for what we've just seen here in the last 2 laps out of the 18.
Yeah, definitely something go. We do have him here. We can try to get a word with him, but definitely unfortunate. If you want to see if he's available, or we can just pull him up here and chat with him. Something definitely going wrong there, I think.
Yeah, let's let these guys get their pits in and figure this out before we pull him up here. Well, he's trying to pit and get that. He's a chase driver there, a championship driver, so let's not mess up his opportunity to get a new car here.
Yeah. Well, it looks like he is good. He has a new car now, I do believe.
Oh, well, maybe I missed pit stops there while I was...
I'm curious if anybody's going to come down, too, with 9 laps to go. I don't think anybody will come down.
Well, let me jump down there and see if we can bring him up.
All right. While you're doing that here, we're going to go ahead and pull up our top 10 drivers just so you know where everybody stands right now here in this race. It is currently Daniel Holloway, Jeffrey Meyer, Harry Tiller, Chase Galvin, Donovan Rant, Scott Warren, Randy Post, John Lombard, TJ Buck, and Jody Burton are your top 10 drivers. As of right now, we have 8 laps to go. We'll see how it all plays out here in the end, but we do have Gary, a champion here. Gary, we are just curious, what happened there? We saw you slide up there leading the race and then got into the wall.
One of my teammates, Daniel Jackson, he got stuck way back in the bottom, so I was going to come back, pick him up, try to bring him back up there. Had a good run coming up there, and I think it was a 95. We had such a good run, I was going to go high, and just slid up a little, skint the wall.
Well, definitely not what you expected, I'm sure. We do have currently 8, so probably about 6 laps to go. You will be bunched up here. I'm sure you're going to make a run here for the lead again to try to get this win. So you be back there with your teammate. We'll look in here and see where you both are. So you'll be 15th and 17th, so you should be in a row. So you're going to work with him now and try to get that win again?
Yeah, I entered a closed pit to get repaired, so I got to start at the rear. We'll give it a shot. There's always a chance of these things. You could have another caution.
Well, definitely could have one. I think if we have one, it would end the race, unfortunately. But you've had a fantastic run here. You led 27 laps now, just shy of the most laps led. We thought you were on the run to do it, too, there. But overall, a great run here. Whether it comes out you're the champion or not, we'll know. It's been a great season for you here, but looks like they're getting ready to get it going here in the next lap.
Only got a few laps to get back up front.
All right, we'll get him there then. And looks like we are having some internet issues as they're out. Hopefully it does straighten up.
Oh, he was only a couple laps away from getting those bonus points back for leading the most laps. And I think going back to get his teammate probably just cost him a championship, because with that single file run, I don't think these guys are going to be able to do anything. I think it was Gary Champion's race here, at least to the end. He was going to lead the most laps and finish close enough up front they weren't going to be able to do anything. So I'm going to agree with MT Valencia there.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely, Ashley, not a good time. It did stop. We are back here. We're back to full strength. So I'm not sure if maybe we got some water in the lines. We have had an issue with that before. We've thought we fixed it, but apparently not. But it looks to be good now, which is surprising. It fixed itself when you started talking, Jeff. So maybe on top of all your other titles, you are the internet fixer too. I don't know, but we look to be good now. Hopefully it will hold out to the end of this race.
Yeah, I'll tell you, with all the computer problems I've had here in the last couple months, I am definitely not the internet fixer, computer whisperer, or anything like that right now. I'm just lucky when my microphone works and you can all hear me.
Hey, we can't argue that. That is a valid point here. But we are good to go, it looks like here. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Definitely hit that thumbs up button if you like the race here tonight. And definitely subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of all upcoming races. Or if you're on the Facebook side of things, just hit the like button and like our page as well. That's definitely, we are glad you're here. Again, we do have a new way. If you feel like you want to be more part of VRN by donating, you can with the Super Chat or the link in there for PayPal. Neither one of them are required. We're just glad to have everyone here. But it looks like we're getting ready to go racing here with 5 laps to go. So if a caution comes out, this race would be over.
Yeah, and I think Daniel Holloway's in a good position here. when we come out with a couple laps to go here, it's going to be tough for these guys to get up to speed. He's likely going to end up with the fastest lap here.
Yeah, it is. And it'll, like you said, take him at least 2, maybe even 3 laps to get up to speed. By the time you do that, you only have 2 laps to really make a lap count. I think you're good there. He should get the fastest lap, 5 bonus points here. And we're going to look back to see where we can find him here. Daniel Jackson's back in 14th right now. Chase Galvin in 3rd. And I cannot find, what's his name? Where in the world did he go?
Daniel Jackson's in 14th place. He got collected in that.
There we go.
Mess here.
Looking for, there, Gary Champion back in 15th. Couldn't find him there for a minute. So he's back there. If Daniel Holloway can lead this rest of this race, he won't get the most points for leading the most laps, but he will get that 5 points for winning getting the fastest lap led. If I can get it out here, having a brain lapse, he very well could be our champion because of the fact that Gary Champion is so far back right now.
Yeah, right. Oh, man, Chase Galvin going to take it down on the apron and try to get underneath Daniel Holloway here as the 2 chase drivers battling for the lead. Daniel Holloway, though, got a teammate on that high side, and we'll see if he can get back up there. So aggressive move by Chase Galvin there to cycle up to the front. Daniel Holloway, though, still has that fastest lap in his back pocket unless something happens here in the last couple laps. Chase Galvin going to lead just a little bit more than a win here, I think, as long as Daniel Holloway's up front there. Oh, and we got a wreck, and this thing's over.
It is over. That'll put Daniel Holloway in 4th place is what is being scored right now. He may have 3rd place here over Randy Post. We'll see. It is being shown 3rd, so Daniel Holloway 3rd. Chase Galvin has the win here tonight, but like you said, I don't think that was enough for him. He may have won the race and gone out on a high note, but I don't think he won this championship. I honestly think because Gary Champion back in 12th place right now, I think Daniel Holloway's sitting in a really good spot to have won this championship just now.
Well, obviously our stuff's unofficial here, but I'm showing Daniel Holloway with the fastest lap of the night. I'm showing him with a point for a lap led, and I'm showing him in 3rd place. Obviously, we got the 112 with the most laps led. So I think with the bonus points, Daniel Holloway's our winner here. I think he's going to beat Chase Galvin by a couple points.
I do agree with that assessment. We'll know more here shortly as Ted Manning, league owner, I already see him dropping down to a second channel there with Daniel Holloway. Maybe possibly confirming this championship. We'll know here shortly, and we'll definitely want to talk to him as well, as I definitely think our napkin math is going to be spot on tonight.
It might be the first time we got this right all year, Charles. I'm feeling pretty confident, and I'm going to just add the caveat. Every time we felt confident about our napkin math, we've been wrong. So one of these times, just the statistical mean is that we're going to have to get one right.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, eventually it's like the lottery, right? Eventually you have to get it right at least once. It may be for $1, but still eventually you got to win something, right? So we'll see here. 2 laps to go. We're going to see if we can get a word in there, but they are under caution, so we're going to step away to a commercial break. When we come back, it will be the end of this race, and we'll let you know the results and who is going to be champion and talk to the top 3 drivers here in the post-race show.
I can't believe he flow.
cane. I can't believe metal. Susie cane. I can't believe, yeah.
All right, we are back, and that will do it. Your race winner here tonight for the second time is going to be the 26 of Chase Galvin. But again, we will confirm here, but I'm pretty sure that third place, Daniel Holloway, is going to be our champion here. We'll confirm that here very shortly. But before we do that, got to go through our unofficial race results. So, Jeff, you want to go through our top 10 in results, and then I will bring us home here, and we'll move on to the post-race show.
Absolutely. Your winner tonight, the 26 of Chase Galvin. In second place, we got the 420 of Donovan Ranta. In third place, we've got the guy we believe is our champion tonight, the 21 of Daniel Holloway. However, I will add that last week we were pretty sure he was out of the playoffs, and we totally whiffed on that one too. In fourth place, we got the 54 of Randy Post. In fifth place, the 112 of Harry Tiller. In sixth place, we've got the 84 of TJ Buck. In seventh place, the 50 of Jeffrey Meyer. In eighth place, the 76 of Scott Warren. In ninth place, we've got the 63 of Jody Burton. And rounding out your top 10 is the 62 of Dan Harrington.
In 11th place will be the 71 of Daniel Jackson. 12th place will be the 18 of Gary Champion. 13th place will be the 4 of Chris Akers. 14th will be the 32 of Alexander Russell. 15th will be the 24 of PJ O'Leary. 16th will be the 350 of Alex Kaiser. 17th will be the 95 of John Lombard. 18th will be the 48 of Mark Johnson. 19th will be the 83 of Jason Papp. And, of course, the 20th place is Ted Manning, not starting the race here due to being race control. That will do it here for your unofficial race results. We're getting to the post-race show, so give us just a minute, and we'll have our top 3 drivers and your champion in here in just a few moments. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with the post-race show. We do have Ted in here. After the post-race show, we will officially announce the champion, or he will, coming up here in a minute. But we do have third place, the 21 of Daniel Holloway. Again, what a run here for Daniel Holloway. As we'll pull up his driver information. You led 12 laps, you started 9th, you finished 3rd. Kind of an up and down night for you here, so give us a rundown of what this race was like, knowing the championship was on the line.
It was hectic. I'm not sure about the finish yet. I think I was down there in a yellow, and I don't know, kind of pumped, but yet kind of disappointed in a way. I think we're trying to figure out what's going on at the end.
Well, definitely a crazy event, as apparently you're still getting hit out on the track. It was up and down night for you here. I think you used all your fast repairs as you went back and forth, and in the end, you managed to come back to the front to finish 3rd place. Just an outstanding run here. Just crazy here as they're still sorting it out here. We're getting notifications. But we don't want to keep anybody here too long. I know it's a little late, even though it is tomorrow, Saturday. I'm sure people have got stuff to do. But again, we just can't say how outstanding your season was and this race was for you here. And we know you got some sponsors, shout-outs. And I know there's a ton of people out there. I think we had a fight going on as to who your favorite fan was out in chat. So who would those shout-outs and sponsors be?
I just want to say, VRN, you guys do one heck of a broadcasting. I'm going to watch it here later on tonight or tomorrow. Ted, Mitch, putting this league on. Congrats, Chase, on that win. Who knows with the championship? Hopefully it's going to be really close. And, yeah, it was up and down tonight, especially the beginning of the race. And then right there at the end, I did not want to give up there.
Well, definitely you just had a hard-fought battle. Congrats on 3rd place, and we'll see here shortly how it all stacks up for the championship. That being said, Jeff, I believe you have caught up with 2nd place here, Donovan Ranta, so we'll hand the mic over to you.
All right, Donovan Ranta, you got a copy, man?
I'm here, 10-4, good buddy.
Hey, here you are right in the midst of all these Chase championship drivers here tonight. You were up there battling up front all night long. You had really good command of that outside row early on in that race. Saw you make a couple strong moves to kind of keep the lead of that line. Even some a couple little mini battles there with Daniel Holloway for to keep the outside line there lead. So definitely not worried about getting in that championship mix. You had a great race. It was a strong race. You finished 2nd. So tell us about your night and kind of what you were thinking there as you were in the middle of these guys fighting for the championship tonight.
Yeah, well, going into this race, my team, DUI Racing, my boys, we run together all day, drive sober, get run over, you know what to do. Chase is in the championship chase. Chase is in the chase. Top 4, I knew I had to race tonight to help him try to get 1st place, and that's exactly what our game plan was going into this race, was make sure that number 26 car is in the front as many times as we can get him there. The team we had tonight was awesome. I mean, literally everybody was there making pushes, doing what we need to do. Lots of team strategy we could see early on in the race with outside line control, inside line control. So we knew that we had to do something. And whether that's going inside, outside, pushing the limits of these cars, making them almost overheat. It was awesome. Such a good race. 2nd place, not sad about that. My teammate got 1st. We're about to hear who wins the championship. I hope it's him. DUI for life, man.
All right. Well, we know Ted's still sorting it out, so we're still waiting for the official announcement. But looks like mission accomplished. You definitely got your teammate up to the front there. You finished 2nd, so good night for you guys all the way around. I think your teammate Randy Post there finished like 3rd or 4th. 4th, I think it was. So your team had a strong run tonight, and I'm sure you got some sponsor shout-outs, people you want to hit up. Thanks. So go ahead, man. Get those out there.
I'll keep it short and quick, but first and foremost, I want to thank my team. I want to thank Chase, Alex, Randy. You guys are the best. Eric couldn't make it tonight. We run together every night. It's super fun. I really want to thank all my family and friends watching. Brandon, I know you're out there. Dad, I know you're watching. Super good time. Can't wait till next season, man. I need to get a win. I needed to get a win.
All right, man. We all know how that feels. And right now we're going to send it back down to Charles, who I believe is with Chase Galvin.
And before we get to Chase here, I just want to point out here, we always have a good time here in the booth, and I got to poke fun at Jeff when I can. I'm beginning to see why his napkin math is not good, as he said someone might have finished in third when we have third here in the booth with us to talk to him. So, Jeff, we love you. We got to poke fun at you every once in a while.
That's finger counting, Charles. I never said I could finger count.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it then. But speaking of someone who needs no counting at all, that is the 26th of Chase Galvin, as he doesn't need to count where he finished. He finished in first, led 4 laps, started 12th, gained 11 spots to win this race for the second time this season. And Chase, this is becoming a trend with you in the pitch, in that moment when you really need to finish really good. You managed to get a win. You got a win there when we were eliminating people, and now here once again for the championship, and it's on the line. So how does it feel to get your second win here of the season? And I do believe we have lost Chase Galvin.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. I'm not even seeing his microphone light up, so it doesn't look like mic problems.
Well, that is unfortunate.
He's coming in, I think. Dude, just start talking.
Chase, you there? Well, maybe we got him on, maybe we don't.
Give him a minute. He'll be in. He's got to figure it out.
All right. Well, we'll come back to him here while we're doing that. And before we get to our champion here, we'll let them get all that sorted out. We will go ahead and thank all the sponsors here for tonight's race. Of course, on the racing side of things, we want to give a big shout out to carkeepers.com. If you are in need of maintenance on that car, repairs, just oil change, stuff like that, stuff that maybe you just don't know how to do, or you just don't have the time to do it, you can go to carkeepers.com. They'll send someone to you to do the maintenance on that car to keep you on the road and keep all of that hassle away from having to deal with that. Again, that is carkeepers.com. On the broadcast side of things, we have quite a few partners that we want to thank, as always, starting with Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. If you have a beard, you need to take care of it. No better way to do so than with some Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. Go to wallsbeardco.com to get some. SimSpeedShop.com, your one-stop shop for button boxes and e-brakes. Check them out at SimSpeedShop.com. Northwest Racing Series, not only are they the one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race, they are also a league we broadcast on Monday and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Or Pacific time, so make sure you check that out. Ohio IndyCar League, for some great IndyCar racing, go to Facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphics source. And, of course, Randy's Wraps. If you're looking for a great paint job, head on over to Randy's Wraps on Facebook to get that done. That being said, I do believe I hear Chase. So, Chase Galvin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that delay.
All right. Well, hey, no problem. We'll definitely be here for you as we're waiting on the champion to be announced anyway. Well, we want to talk to you. You led 4 laps here. You started 12th. You finished first. You gained 11 positions to come away with the win. Same question. How was this race here for you? As we saw you start in the back and work your way up through this field as you've done in the past. And overall, how was this season here for you?
How about that Team Olivia car? Whew. It started in the back. I didn't qualify too well. Clipped apron, drifted high. So I decided to just kind of hang out. So I waited and I made my move towards the end after a caution, and I managed to run it up to third to get behind Daniel Holloway and Harry, and Holloway drifted a tad bit high to kind of block Harry, to be expected, and I dove underneath him, and I checked the replay, and I had my wheels on the yellow until I was forced down there. Forced down a little bit. I mean, to be expected. I mean, running for a championship, but we managed to get some wheels in there and managed to get by him, and then we got lucky with the caution. Otherwise, Holloway was coming with the huge run.
Well, definitely a great run here for you. A crazy night of racing. We had a few cautions, not very many, but just an awesome race here for everyone involved. Awesome season. We're glad to be here. We are coming back for next season as well. But we don't want to keep you here too late. And know it is already coming up on a little after 10. So any sponsors on the car, I know you got a special paint job on there, and any shout outs you want to give for that win.
Yeah, just thank you to Car Keepers for putting on a great season. Excalibur Racing with Holloway and Justin Levine, Gary Champion, Daniel Jackson. They're great dudes. I don't know who Champion is yet. I mean, it doesn't matter who. They're good dudes either way. Great dudes. Race around them all the time. Talk to them all the time. It's been a good year. Honestly, I would never even be in position to have a chance at this if it wasn't for my teammates at DUI with Donovan Ranta, Randy Post, Alex Kinzer, Eric Green. We put on a hell of a show this year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a great year. I mean, you couldn't ask for nothing better, man. This league is unbelievable. So, you thank you to Mitch, Ted. Everybody puts on. Ted puts in a lot of work. Good dude. So, you guys putting on the show. Stab now, Charles. You guys are great. Talk to you guys all the time. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed the show.
All right, I'm definitely hope they enjoyed it. If they didn't, they might want to check for a pulse because they may not be here of the living. But that was one heck of a show, and I just got notification from Ted that we do have the champion's name in. So Ted, we are going to hand it over to you to make that official announcement.
All right, so first what I want to do is congratulations, Chase, on the win tonight. Everybody put on one heck of a show. All four Chase playoff drivers were up there at the front a lot of the race, and it put on a good show. To break down the points, Chase Galvin won, and he ended up getting a total of 41 points. 1 point was a bonus for leading a lap. And Daniel Holloway, finishing in third, got 34 points. And he got 6 bonus points on top of that for having the fastest lap and for leading a lap. And so he ended up getting 40 points. And so, without further ado, as soon as I jump over to standings, without further ado, with 1,541 points, in second place is Daniel Holloway. With 1,542 points, is your champion for the Season 2 of Car Keeper Super Speedway Series, Chase Galvin. Congratulations, Chase.
Well, definitely a very close battle there. And Chase, we just got done talking to you. We're going to hand it back over to you here for the championship speech.
Man, what a finish. Awesome, man. It's, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better series to run. The action out here is crazy. The drivers are fantastic. If you don't enjoy watching Car Keeper Super Speedway Series, or now known as the Manning Electric Super Speedway Series, I don't know what to tell you. This is some of the best racing you're going to find. It's fantastic. These guys are great. Great year, guys.
Well, there you have it from your champion here for Season 2. And Daniel, we'll let you talk for a minute too, as you came runner-up by 1 point. You get second place. So what kind of momentum is that going to give you to go to next season?
This season was pretty darn good. Can't be happy for Team Excalibur. 4 out of 5 made it in the chase and top 4, and congrats Chase on it. And looking forward to next season. Still same guys and everything. So round 2, or now round 3, I should say.
Definitely will be looking forward to, as it is officially announced that we will be back for Season 3. That being said, we've gone through the sponsors. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. That was the championship night here for the CarKeepers.com Super Speedway Series. As coming next season, it will be the Manning Electric series, so Super Speedway Series. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you check out the Facebook page, as we'll be announcing all that on our page here shortly. Till next broadcast, which is not tomorrow night, it'll be Sunday night for the Race Core iRacing Drivers World Series. Stay tuned for that, and we'll see you there.